Today's interview video is sponsored by Hayek Lab. Head on over to their website, hayeklab.com, to learn more about their renowned Tezos baking service and learn how to delegate your Tezos towards Hayek Lab to start earning XTZ staking rewards today. So join me and hundreds of others who are baking their XTZ with Hayek Lab. Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Live Leak. My name is Ken Garofalo and today we have a super exciting episode for you. We have the exclusive guest, the legend himself, Mr. John McAfee. Some of you love him, some of you hate him. He may be your hero or he may be your villain, but nonetheless he is an inspiring figure and very important figure in relation to blockchain technology and cybersecurity. So we are very pleased to have you on here today with us, John. Thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you for having me on, Kenneth. I appreciate you thinking of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to set the table for the audience before we dive into things, basically first we're going to start off talking about your current projects, what you have going on, your presidential run for 2020, and then we're going to pop into the subject of Tezos, which probably excites a lot of our audience members out there. We have a big Tezos following. And then we're going to hop into decentralized finance, get some of your takes on DAOs, security tokens, and we wrap it all up with the social impacts of blockchain technology. How can we improve the world around us for the better using blockchain? So, excellent. To start us off, let's hop right into some current projects. We're going to start with the McAfee DEX. We want to basically just get a little bit of summary about what it is and what is the current state of that project.
Okay, the McAfee DEX. It's the first truly decentralized and distributed exchange. I've been talking about distributed exchanges for 3 years, saying that if we don't have them, we will be shut down by governments, and soon. Already in India, they're considering laws to outlaw the use, ownership of cryptocurrencies. In China, they banned all the distributed exchanges in China 2 years ago, overnight. They are our weak point. And without exchanges, people, we don't have anything. Because what is an exchange? It is the window through which we are able to buy half a chicken and a loaf of bread, rather than having to take all of our worldly goods to the market and see if we can't find a match somewhere. So the exchanges are critical to the success and the longevity of cryptocurrency. And if they can be shut down, they will. Because governments do fear crypto, especially privacy coins. And so what I did is I broke every rule. You may say I broke the law. I put know your customer into it. I put nothing about anti-money laundering. I'm sorry, that's not my job. My job is to give people something that they can escape the scrutiny and control of an overburdened and corrupt government if they so choose. So this is what I've done. We take no information. We don't get your name, your email address, nothing. We log absolutely nothing. Everything is on the blockchain in a peer-to-peer transaction. We charge nothing to list. And we're fully distributed. We have no control. Now, we've built it. It's on the blockchains. Sorry, can't ever take it down. Now, when the SEC, the IRS, and everybody else finally catch up to me, and God forbid that they ever do, but if they do, my defense is simply, I didn't know you guys wanted all this information, and I'm really sorry, but I can't stop it now. And unfortunately, neither can you nor anyone else. My apologies. And here you have it, people. This is my gift to the crypto community. Right now, it's in beta version. We only support 2 blockchains. That's Ethereum and Tron. We'll be adding EOS, Neo, and Binance before the end of the year. And we have no cross-chain transactions yet. That will come in the second quarter. But when we do, you'll be able to trade any token for any token. I mean, already we've had over 500 tokens listed on the DEX. And we don't list them. We don't pay anything. You push a button at the top of our screen and say list token. Put in the technical specs and you list it. So hopefully this will not be shut down before I can complete it. And I do believe, since all I need is freedom to communicate, that we will make this happen by the second quarter of next year. In the end, if they collect me, it will not matter.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing there. You're liberating the people, giving them that last bit of resistance against the censorship of governments, and that is through the decentralized exchange there, the McAfee DEX.
Now, this is not. I'm not doing this at no cost, people. I'm living. I'm not living, but I'm communicating from a Faraday cage. Faraday cage. Why? I cannot risk a signal leaving this room that might be detected by somebody outside and therefore locate me. I'm protected. Listen, I am still one of the leading security experts in the world. And if you're a security expert, one thing you know better than anybody is how to break into things, right? How to find things, how to get information that you want. But since I know how they will be attempting it, they're not going to find me. Certainly not anytime soon.
So you're taking those precautions to remain encrypted sort of yourself as well. So yeah.
Well, we had to, if you follow the last 6 months of our life, ever since we were forced out of America when the IRS convened a grand jury, and we left before the convening, else I would be in prison now. And went to the Bahamas. They tried to collect us in the Bahamas. We went to Cuba. The Cuban government called Janice and I in and said, the United States has asked for your return to America, but we're disinclined to do that. But we're asking you to leave Cuba within 72 hours and never return, which we did. We pulled in, we sailed 4.5 days to the Dominican Republic over in a very violent ocean. And when we pulled into port, we were surrounded immediately by soldiers of the Dominican Republic who refused to let us speak, even to customs and immigration, and then charged us with failure to declare our firearms to customs. We had them on the table, ready to declare. You never let us talk to customs. This was, again, another setup by America's long arm through the avenue of the CIA to try to collect me. Four days later, in some severe legal battles, I managed to get Janice and I deported to England, where we went underground. This was 5 months ago. We've told no one where we are since, and we will not. I'm sick of being chased.
Wow, it seems like you're living a real-life movie. I don't know if they have made movies about your story in the past. Well, they should definitely add an extra chapter, because this stuff is live, it's real, it's happening.
Yeah, well, actually, they have made movies. They made one, it was a terrible one, called Gringo, which I haven't seen. And then there's one coming out next year called King of the Jungle, starring Michael Keaton as myself, and Zac Efron will play the reporter who came down to visit me in Belize. That's what the story is all about. Okay. That 2.5 weeks that I was with that Wired reporter, poor bastard, he was so unprepared for me.
So tell me, you're planning to run for president of the United States in 2020. How does that work with all this government involvement and request for, I don't know, the deportation back into America? How is that going to work?
Well, I mean, I'm running. I have an organization. I have regional managers. I have a campaign manager. I ran in 2016 under the Libertarian banner, and all I wanted was the national stage, which I got. All I want this time is a national stage. I have some things I'd like to say. I do not want to be president, and quite frankly, it does not matter who is president. Our system is like a car with a broken steering wheel. It doesn't matter who's driving it. It's going to go where it's going to go.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say that, but the platform alone that you gain by putting yourself out there should be enough to get the message across. And I love the message.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be, and I will be invited to the Libertarian big debates through video. We can do that these days. I can legally run for president for anywhere. If I was on the moon, I could run for president. Now, I can't be president unless I'm living in America, but I don't want to be president. So I'm doing what I can legally do.
Yeah. Well, definitely excited. I'm going to be following that story, the debates that come out. I'm definitely going to be watching intensely, and I'm sure our audience will as well. Is there anything perhaps that you want to give us for a little announcement right now? Any kind of breaking news regarding any of those topics or projects you're working on?
No, that's not my style. You know, I build something and then tell you about it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Our style is a little bit too much hype. We tend to hype things up before the product actually gets released. So something we should learn. So let's move on to the next subject here, Tezos. So For those of you that don't know, I'm a Boston chapter president for Tezos Commons Foundation. Do a lot of meetups here. I've done hackathons. Tezos audience really loves watching our content. So it seems like in the past you've posted some content on Tezos yourself. What are your general thoughts on that project?
I could care less about the Tezos project itself. I could care less about any product. When I take an interest in something, it's the people that I take an interest in. The developers, the organizers, the architects, managers, the entire structure. That's the only thing that got me interested in talking about it, because I saw that there was some honest, sincere, and dedicated people who were working on this, and they seemed to be remarkably clever. That's all. Project itself, I can barely tell you what it does. It's far more interesting to me to deal with people rather than just the fruits of their labor.
Exactly. Well, hey, that means that the leadership group is doing something right then. If we're getting recognized as the developers doing something good, being recognized from a cybersecurity expert such as yourself. So that's a positive. Let's talk about governance and the way blockchain is introducing a decentralized governance to the people. This could be the Tezos project itself using governance to be self-amending, where stakeholders actually vote for protocol amendments to get rolled into the main chain. Or this could be any other area of governance that blockchain helps utilize and give power back to the people themselves. What is your opinion on that?
Well, there are a lot of projects that are happening in this area, and one of my favorites is a thing called ClearPoll, because it is definitely the precursor to a nationwide and hopefully eventually a worldwide voting system where you cannot commit fraud. I mean, other than killing someone, assuming their identity in every possible way, and then we can't help that. My apologies. And if that fake person votes, well, sorry, blockchain can't help. Other than that, there won't be fraud. End of story.
Yeah, I think the way they're collecting votes nowadays is absolutely absurd. We're living in 2019. You still have to go fill in, a pen to paper type voting ballot, and then it gets deposited into a trash barrel that gets sent to a centralized location, and they collect all these pieces of paper. It's unbelievable. Why not put this on the blockchain?
I love your trash barrel comment, because that is in fact what it is, almost. And so yeah, no, it's a nightmare. It's a parody. It's absurd. It's full of holes, fraud, deceit, manipulation. The blockchain will definitely stop that.
Yeah. And so now you talked earlier about privacy coins being censored off of centralized exchanges, and that being one of the need for decentralized exchanges to give the ability for users to trade those. Now, Tezos itself is planning down the road to fold in a privacy feature, ZK Snark Sapling, into its core protocol. What do you think about, in general, how these privacy features could enable more adoption outside of just shielding transactions? How could like an on-off switch for privacy enable traditional finance to use these products for their own business? Sort of.
I don't know. I could care less about traditional finance. What I care about is the people and how the people are going to use it. And the people will have to use privacy coins. You know this. I know this. If we're using Bitcoin, then all we have to do is some government agent buy something or sell something to your address, your Bitcoin address, and then suddenly they're going to watch everything that comes, everything that goes, who, to whom, and from whom, forever. And please, people, if your bank did this with everybody you wrote a check to, you would not be a happy camper. And so privacy coins will be the only coins in use. You know this, I know this, we all know this. Coins like Bitcoin will always be around, store of value. And it will continue to increase in value. But for usage, it will be privacy coins. And I've been saying this since day one. Please, people, do you understand the absurdity of thinking we can create an entirely new economy as people, where all that we're doing is aiding government's control and surveillance of our financial activities? No, not happening.
It's actually interesting you're saying this here. I'm going to actually throw you a little curveball. It wasn't on our breakdown there of topics, but talking with some people last week in Malta at a blockchain convention, we were thinking 20, 30 years, in the future. Where would we be? What would things be like? And we thought, well, if everyone's on Bitcoin and Bitcoin has been fully mass adopted, well, like you're saying, governments would be able to trace you. There'd be no hiding, right? Let's say privacy coins didn't exist. There'd be no hiding.
No.
As soon as they identify your name to your Bitcoin address, they're going to permanently be able to trace all the transactions and where those sub-transactions have gone.
And it is so trivial to trace your name to these transactions if you are people like the FBI or the CIA.
So that leads me back to the main question is, who created Bitcoin? Is it a Trojan horse to get society onto a digital currency so that society can be fully traced? Right?
No, we know who created Bitcoin. We don't know who Satoshi is. We know he's one of the less than a dozen developers who built Bitcoin. Know who they are. None of them work for a government program. They are just geeky developers who developed Bitcoin. Now, if some geeky developers wanted to ride a Trojan horse, this would be the last possible way I would choose.
Okay, that gives me a little bit more confidence coming from you now that you're sure it wasn't like the CIA that dropped this thing out into society. No,
absolutely not. 100%. I would, if anybody would know, I would know. I mean, the CIA was my first and largest client when I started McAfee. So trust me, it is not those people.
Okay, and so I actually posted a picture with this Craig Wright character that claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and I caught a lot of shit online for it. So, in your opinion, is Craig Wright Satoshi? From what you've
no, he was one of the developers, but he's not Satoshi. Satoshi is the dude who wrote the white paper. Who cares who he is? They probably drew straws. I don't know, but it was not Craig Wright. Absolutely not. Cool. Who wrote the white paper? Yeah. That's who we called Satoshi and named himself Satoshi.
Yeah, so just a collective of developers, and that's good insight there. So moving into some more of the topics here. So decentralized finance. This is the new buzzword that's taking over, and one of the products under this category is DAOs. Back in 2015, Ethereum had one of its first DAOs that ended horribly. The smart contract was hacked. A bunch of Ethereum was lost. They had to create Ethereum Classic versus Ethereum to recoup some of those bad transactions. But in today's standing, we can have more secure smart contracts on a platform like Tezos, for instance. How do you see DAOs cutting back on government corruption?
I don't see any one aspect of the blockchain or cryptocurrency that's going to cut back on government corruption. What's going to cut back on government corruption is our own actions, people. Here's the point. Every government in a couple of years, including the U.S., is going to have their own cryptocurrency. China's already building theirs. We're going to have the crypto dollar and the crypto euro and on and on. The question is, are you going to fall for that? Because those are going to be far worse than Bitcoin. They're going to monitor every fucking penny, and they're going to know exactly while you're doing it what's happening to your money and where your money's coming from. If that is the world you want to enter, then please accept the crypto dollar and use it. It will be very inviting, I promise you, all of Satan's toys, right? But it will be the worst harm to ever befall humanity. Instead, look what we have already. We already have a healthy crypto society. Chaotic, oh, absolutely. Unpredictable, you bet. But healthy, fuck yes. And from this healthy society must grow the use of these currencies, not the trading of them. The trading of them is the use. Do you understand? I'm trading some Bitcoin for a car, and there's nothing you cannot buy. Search it on Google. Nothing. Homes, cars, clothes, bulletproof vests, pussy. It's all buyable. So use it. If you just invest in it, then you are doing the greatest harm to the crypto community and to yourselves that you can ever do. I'm not saying don't trade to make money. If that's your thing, do it. But if that's all you're doing, please get the hell out of my world because you're killing it.
Yeah. So, Mr. McAfee, what is your definition of money with all that said?
Money. Well, money is simply the natural result of the human society beginning to trade amongst and between itself. Starting with, I bring 5 chickens to market, hoping I can find someone who will trade me a pig for 5 chickens. But all the pigs seem too fat and therefore worth more than 5 chickens, and I only have 5. And so finally, I have to cut a deal where, look, I'll give you the 5 chickens for the back half of the pig, or whatever. Jesus, can you imagine the chaos? So suddenly, those in power go, you know what, we'll all benefit if I stamp a coin made of silver, because I own all the silver, do I not? And I'll say, listen, we're creating a marketplace. You bring your 5 chickens, and we'll have a standard value per chicken, and we'll give you 5 coins. And you bring us a fat pig, and you'll get 32 coins. And then you don't need to bring your fucking pig to market anymore, or your chickens to market. You bring the coins to market. You want to have a pig? That's going to be 17.5 coins. You want 5 chickens? That's 5 coins, please. Take them home. Look at what we have all saved. So that is money. But please understand, people, there is no money without the exchange itself that first gave these coins up. Because ultimately, they're the ones who bought originally all the chickens, cows, and pigs. Did they not? I mean, listen, Caesar did not mint a bunch of coins and throw them in the streets, people. No, he minted a bunch of coins, declared a value, and said, okay, all you people here in the market who are trying to sell pigs, we're having a big party tonight. Here, we're going to give you 5 silver coins per pig. Thank you very much. That was it. So they bought the pigs, they bought the potatoes, they bought the silk, they bought the everything, and then traded it out in large volumes to a new concept called distribution. So everything about money cannot exist without an exchange. And these exchanges are called different things around the world, the Fed in America, the whatever. No. You have your own exchange in crypto, and you'll have many others, I hope and pray, many others than mine, because I'm not the god of design and development. I merely pushed myself into this because no one else was willing to do it. But it's here. Yeah. This is your power. You now have an exchange which cannot be controlled, shut down, or even monitored by any government in this world. See the power. For the first time, people, you can have real money in the form of cryptocurrencies that have real value to be traded for goods and services in the world at large. This is what money is. This is why we had to have a distributed exchange, else money would have no fucking value.
Yeah, John, that's really cool and insightful that you gave us your meaning of money, and it's for the first time ever people are actually able to possess money for themselves using cryptocurrency and having control of their own private keys. It's a concept that they're not familiar with, but as people learn more, I'm sure they'll become more comfortable and prefer it over traditional fiat money as well. So last topic here, John. So social impacts of blockchain technology. We noticed you made some. It's hitting hard. Almost there.
Okay.
Yeah. So where do you see blockchain technology improving society?
Well, I mean, in every way, shape, and form, if we apply it properly. If it's applied as governments want to apply it, then it simply increases the number of bars in our slave quarters. If we use it with common sense and we stick with the people's currency, not the government's currency, the people's currency, people, meaning you've got to use the people's currency, then we will free ourselves financially. If we as people use this technology, because people, this is the first technology in 100 years that has not come from the bowels of some government secret program or from a major corporation. It came from the people. And it's ours. It was open source. And from that open source, we have built a monumental technology dwarfing that initial open source code for Bitcoin. And if we apply the technology ourselves, since we have it, to our own problems, then I can't tell you in what degree or in what way or in what area of endeavor, but it will touch almost every aspect of your life. And I thank you so much for having me on your show, my friend.
John, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Let's do this. I was choking on my last show, but this is a new weed. You know, every batch is different in numerous ways. I'm not smoking my own weed tonight. It seems self-serving.
Now all we need is a supply chain for cannabis, right? I'm sure they're already working on it.
Oh, they're working on it. Trust me. Trust me.
All right, John, thank you so much, everyone. This is Mr. John McAfee joining the Crypto Live League show. Be sure to subscribe, follow, hit that like button below, leave some comments. Come on, guys, what did you think of this interview? Again, John, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Well, thank you for having me on. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yes, welcome. Today's interview video is sponsored by Hayek Lab. Head on over to their website, hayeklab.com, to learn more about their renowned Tezos baking service and learn how to delegate your Tezos towards Hayek Lab to start earning XTZ staking rewards today. So join me and hundreds of others who are baking their XTZ with Hayek Lab.